Trump administration officials pressed State Department staffers to develop plans for removing sanctions against Russia almost immediately after President Trump took office in January, Yahoo News reported Thursday. In turn, according to Yahoo News, State Department employees sought to convince lawmakers to codify the sanctions, which were put in place by former President Barack Obama. Barack Obama White House weighs blocking COMEY and APO's testimony. Susan Rice. Trump's moves and APO's a whole lot of WINNING and APO's. For Russia, China. Bloomberg pledges M to UN to cover U.S. climate share more in response to RUSSIA and APO's military intervention in Ukraine and the KREMLN and APO's efforts to interfere in the 2016 presidential election. Former coordinator of sanctions policy Dan Fried, who retired from the State Department in February, said that he received phone calls from concerned officials tasked with developing plans to lift the sanctions, asking him to intervene and "stop this." There was serious consideration by the White House to unilaterally rescind the sanctions, Fried told Yahoo News, saying he eventually contacted lawmakers, including Senate Foreign Affairs Committee ranking member Ben Cardin. Death toll mounts, Goldman rewards Venezuelan dictator and APO's cruelty. Trump officials pressed State Department staffers for plans to lift Russia sanctions, report opinion. This act will hold corrupt regimes accountable for their crimes more. Maryland, in an effort to codify the sanctions, which would complicate efforts by Trump to lift them. Former Assistant Secretary of State for Democracy, Human Rights and Labor Tom Malinowski, who, at the time, had just left the State Department, also brought the issue up with members of Congress. The revelation that State Department officials had scrambled to prevent the Trump administration from doing away with Obama-era sanctions on Russia comes as the FBI and at least 4 congressional committees are investigating possible coordination between the Trump campaign and Russia. It also follows reports last week that Trump and APO's son-in-law and senior advisor, Jared Kushner, had discussed setting up a back-channel line of communication between the Trump transition team and the Kremlin with the COUNTRY and APO's ambassador to the U.S., Sergei Kislyak. Kushner is currently under FBI scrutiny for his meetings with Kislyak and Russian banking executive Sergei Gorkov in December. He did not disclose those meetings in ethics forms. Also present at the meeting with Kislyak was former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, who was forced to resign from the White House in February amid revelations that he had discussed sanctions with Kislyak in the month before Trump took office. As a presidential candidate and since taking office, Trump has expressed a desire to improve U.S.-Russia relations, though he has repeatedly denied any collusion between his campaign and Moscow and has called the federal investigations into the matter a "witch hunt."